Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Department of Management Studies, today I would like to welcome our guests, students, faculty present here for the mentoring session of Vanguard Case Study Conclave 2023. First of all, congratulations to everyone, the teams, the participants who have participated in the Vanguard Case Study competition and been selected and clear the first selection round. We are very happy and delighted to welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Chandrahan Chauhan sir. Sir is a professor and ex-director at Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, Mumbai since 2005. Sir is doctorate in business management and MPhil in business administration and has more than 25 years of experience in field of industry, teaching, research, management, and etc. Sir is certified corporate directors from World Council of Corporate Governance, UK. His research area mainly includes the information technology and systems, digital business, business and technology strategy. And not only that, he has been listed in top 50 national personalities in India, masters for contribution to nation and iconic intervention in India's progress by Indian Express, and also been awarded as International Youth Fellowship from World Education Leaders Forum held in Germany 2015. Now, I would like to ask Dr. Amitok sir to give sir the token of momentum. Now, I would ask Chauhan sir to share his valuable words and mentor us. Thank you.
शेयर करना पड़ेगा ना। Hello. So very good morning to one and all, respected Amit sir and all the faculty members. Thank you very much for inviting me here to share a few insights on case study writing or analysis. Right. Before I begin, and I would like to ask you, what do you understand about the case study analysis, and what are the important, significant points one has to look into while analyzing the case? Enlarge करो, enlarge करो, enlarge करो. Enlarge करते हैं ना? Enlarge करता है ना? इतुन करा लगेगा. हाँ. ठीक है. नहीं त्याच्या मध्ये बॅक करायला थांबा. इथं आहे एक मिनिट. नाही ते असू दे काय प्रॉब्लेम नाही. आता झालं ना. आता नाही ते डुप्लिकेट स्क्रीन झालं काय? स्क्रीन शेअरिंग मध्ये डुप्लिकेट मध्ये. Okay. Now I have
okay. Yes. Okay.
ह्याच्यातून बाहेर आलं.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you understand about the case study analysis? So what are the various important components? Hello. Of course, there are a good number of questions asked. We've just gone through the case. Which are the important component play a significant role or element that play a significant role when you analyze the case study? Okay. Okay. Very good. Interest of the case. Very good. Facts and figures. Very good. Yes, very good. Adam, okay. 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 What is again important component in this? Like that. There are two methods. One method with what is that kind? Analyzing the case study. That's scientific. Scientific method. What is that scientific? Very important. Very important is research, right? Very important is research. How you can find out the solution. A step-by-step process, right? Which you follow. That is nothing but research methodology. Which you follow to solve a given problem. Because your understanding, your blind belief, right? Your perception, right? So all these issues are there. But again, how you do the case or analyze the case with adopting right kind of research method, a step-by-step solving a problem and coming to a conclusion. So unless and until you adopt a scientific method, the solution does not have a solution is nothing but as does not have a right? So which are the various methods one can apply when you analyze the case study? Which research design you can apply while analyzing a case? Which research design you can apply while analyzing the case? Primary research, okay, secondary research. I am talking about research design. Which research design you can apply while analyzing the case? Is there any specific research design? Anything else? What are the different three viewpoints of the research? Because this is fundamental, right? What are the different three viewpoints of a research? Qualitative? Okay. What are the different three viewpoints of the research? Predictive? Anything else? There are three viewpoints of research. One, in terms of its application. First is in terms of its application. So when you talk about the application, right, it falls under the category of pure or applied. You are just doing a research or finding a solution just for your understanding or sake of your extension of a knowledge or just for your knowledge. Thus, you have an interest and because of that you are doing it. You are not applying the finding into the practice. The other aspect is the applied research. Right? The findings of the solution, the solutions which are getting out of this is you are applying to solve a problem. Right? So all business research, even case study is also part of it. All business research normally may fall under category of pure or applied. But basically, our objective should be to do an applied kind of thing. So that your finding, right, or solution can apply to solve a real life problem. Maybe it is related to tactical, maybe related to strategic, maybe related to operation. Right. This is one in terms of application. Second, in terms of its object. So again, it is categorized in three categories. One is a description. Somebody has said. You are describing the phenomenon, right? Why, when, where, how, right? What, right? All these are various questions you will be addressing. So normally when you carry out a survey research, right, you are actually doing a descriptive research. So now here also you will be doing some sort of survey and collecting some sort of primary data and analyzing. Right? So when you address these questions, you actually do a descriptive. The second category is again is nothing but exploratory. Exploratory. You know little about it and you try to explore. Now when you go to the doctor, right, doctor, you will be suffering with XYZ symptoms of a disease. He may ask few questions to you and try to identify why you are suffering from, why you are suffering, what is the reason for suffering, and accordingly he will give the reason. He just try to identify, asking few questions to you, and then exploring the phenomenon. And there are other factors. The third type of design is again is called as causal research. Right? It's also called as cause and effect. So how one variable is affecting on another variable, right? How dependent variable is affecting, how independent variable is affecting on dependent variable. What is the relationship, right? Impact of independent variable on dependent variable. And how moderating variable is changing the relationship between dependent variable and either in a positive direction or a negative direction, right? Either in a positive direction or negative direction. Identifying that independent variable. Identifying the dependent variable, independent variable, moderating. And there is one more variable called as intervening variable. Is a hidden variable. So that variable will change the relationship between moderating variable and the dependent. So identification of these factors. Now in the case study, if you just go through, you will find out there are a good number of factors around play a significant. So identification of those factors plays a very important role. And how one variable is affecting another variable. What is the relationship? And building that conceptual framework is very important. Now, what is meant by conceptual framework of a research study? Or a conceptual framework of your case study? Now, if I ask you, what is the conceptual framework of your case study? And how you have built up the conceptual framework of your case study? It is very important to build the conceptual framework of your research or a case study. So building a conceptual framework of case study is nothing but identification of various factors
and how each factor is actually playing a significant role. Whether it is a dependent factor, independent factor, we also call as variable. Right? A dependent factor, that is dependent variable, moderating variable, intervening variable. What is the association between it? If you just try to understand that, right, you can easily solve any problem. Even for a research, even your PhD research, even your sponsored research, even the business research, right? Big project business research, or there are funding agencies giving you good number of amount of fund, right? So all funding research play a significant role. So what is the base of your case study research is nothing but identification of that concept, building that concept, which is very important. So how you identify those factors and how one variable or how one factor. So if you rightly identify the research variable, importantly, on the basis of research variable, you can construct the objective for your case study. Now, in the case study, what is the objective of your case study? When you just try to understand the question, you will come to know what is the basic objective of your case. Right? So, identification of variable, identification of the objective of the case study. And suppose if you want to test some hypothesis, right? If you want to test some hypothesis, assumptions, these are nothing but assumptions. Now, why we need assumptions? Assumptions will give you direction to solve a given problem. So, assumptions also play the significant. That is nothing but hypothesis. And there are different types of hypotheses again: a descriptive hypothesis, relational hypothesis, causal hypothesis. Right? Describing hypothesis describing the phenomenon, right, and describing the relationship between two variables, and how one variable is affecting another variable. That is cause and effect relation. So these are the different types of hypotheses, and for each hypothesis there are alternative hypotheses, nothing but null. You can construct it for or so understanding this aspect is nothing but it is very important. That if you rightly identify these aspects from your case study, so this is enough. Importantly, what is identification of a problem? The case study. When you are actually following the case study, importantly, identification of problem is very important. Identification of problem is very important. So, what is the problem? So, if you rightly identify, definitely you can solve a problem. So it is very important whether it is a business research, case study research, right? Any research applied in which is applied in nature. So identification of a problem is very important. If you rightly identify, definitely you can solve the problem. So here also in the case study, if you rightly identify the problem, definitely you can solve. You can give appropriate solution. So once you identify right identification of problem, then it is very important to identify right variables. Dependent, independent, moderating, interval. If you rightly identify the variable, you should rightly construct the research objective. Right? If you rightly, if constructing objectives, you need to raise various questions. Raise various questions. Now, in the case study, if you see, there are good number of questions are given. Right? So, if you rightly identify the problem, definitely you need to identify, it is very important to identify right variables. And if you rightly identify the right variables, you will rightly raise various questions. If you rightly raise various questions, definitely you can rightly construct a research objective. If you rightly construct the research objective, definitely you can rightly construct the research hypothesis. Now, this is the fundamental aspect of any kind of research. Right? Be it a case study, research, or case study is nothing but case study research you are doing. Right? You are analyzing the case. It's nothing but case study. So, if you, and then this is done, then you need to construct the concept. Construct, means construct. actually construct logical understanding about the factors and how these factors playing a significant role, right? Right? How these factors playing a significant role, how the variables are playing a significant role. So constructing that conceptual. So if you any case study, if you just concentrate these aspects or any research, be it PhD research, be it your summer internship research, be it is industry live project research, be it is a big sponsor industry research or funding agency research, be it is your PhD research. This is be it a case study research, right? And you need to actually understand these aspects. So it is very important. If you are not understood these factors, you also, it is very important to understand these factors, components, before solving a case or before analyzing a case. Is very important, right? Now, again, I will give you some insight about what are the various important components you should consider when you talk about case study research, right? But this is a fundamental. And there is no watertight compartment. Now, I just said, this is actually, I just said, what are the viewpoints of a research? First one is, I said, application. In terms of application, pure and applied. In terms of objectives, whether it is a descriptive, whether it is exploratory, whether it is a causal. Causal. Experimental research, when you talk about, it comes under causal, right? Cause and effect relationship, establishing cause and effect relationship between the variables, again causal, right? These are the three types of design. We also call it as research design, right? And there is a third component, plays a very important role, is nothing but mode of inquiry. Mode of inquiry, whether it is a quantitative or a qualitative. Quantitative is nothing but more in terms of analysis of your data, right? More variables, good number of data, analyzing certain numerical data, right? And coming to the interpretation, right? And your assumptions, your analysis in the basis of a situation or etc. More which is more in a form of expression, etc. It is also it's called as qualitative. So your mode of inquiry can be qualitative, your mode of inquiry can be quantitative. Now, when you are solving a case study or analyzing a case study, it is not necessary that you should adopt only one research design. There is no watertight compartment. So you can analyze a case study. Now, the case study is very big case study. Now you have been given a very small case study. Now take an example of Reliance industry. And for a Reliance industry, if you are taken a Reliance case study as of a Reliance industry, so many factors you need to understand, so many elements are there. You need to analyze it. So here you can use a descriptive kind of research. Here you can use a exploratory kind of research. Here you can use a causal kind of research. So there is no watertight compartment. Any type of research, right? Any type of research design, right? You can combine together the descriptive, exploratory, you can use it, or descriptive, exploratory, and causal, you can use it all together. You can use descriptive and causal. You can use exploratory and causal. So the way you identify a research title will determine what kind of research design. You tell me your topic, I will tell you what research design it is suitable. So the way you construct your research title or a problem will define what kind of research design you will be adopting. So for that, you need to actually have some sort of experience of research, then only you can understand, right? But I will be also requesting you to refer one good book on the business research method by Uma. It will give you some insight about what are the various factors, elements play a significant role when you do a research. And case study analysis is nothing but one kind of research. One kind of research. So whichever on the basis of your problem, you try to identify what is the problem in the case study. And on that basis, you can adopt a descriptive kind of research or exploratory or causal kind of research design, and you can analyze it. So these are the very important components when you are analyzing the case. Very significant. Okay. So now I will give you some insight about, I have just prepared few slides for your understanding. What is a case study? Right? A case study, again, a case study is an in-depth and in detail, comprehensive study of a person, maybe a social group, and or a situation, right? Or a program, or a community, an institution, or any other social unit. Right? Case study is of anything. Right? A case study gives us a total view of a unit or a clear insight into a situation or a process in its total setting. Now, you must have gone through your case study and you just correlate the case study to point number 2. You can understand, right? It gives a total view of a unit or a clear insight into a situation or a process in its total setting. So, when you go through the case study, you can understand the total setting and process of a given situation. It aims at studying everything about something rather than something about everything. This is very important. Let's talk about case study. It is the main aim at studying everything about something, right? Rather than something about everything. So, in detail analysis of a given situation, given problem, given program, right? Or a community, etc., etc. The case study is a research method, often employs more technique than one. I just told you. So you can use a descriptive design, you can use a exploratory, you can use causal, right? So thus for practicing and development process, it uses historical method. You can also use a historical data, a descriptive method, descriptive data, right? By asking various questions, what, when, where, how, etc., and collect the data, where a factual picture is needed. That is very convenient. It employs interviewing, mail questionnaires, observational, personal record, document, biographies to gather data. Again, this is very important. So, data plays a very how reliable data you collect, what tool you use plays a significant. Because garbage in, garbage out. If you are actually wrongly collect data, definitely you will get a result, but it has no significance. So when you are doing a big business case study, and the solutions are very significant in terms of strategic decision making. The solutions are very significant for a strategic decision making. In that case, the value of finding should be always high. The value of solution should be always high. So how you can determine what are the various factors of the value of your finding? The findings are nothing but there is a clear-cut data is nothing but it's a facts and figure. Through questionnaire you can collect it. When you process huge data, which is normally collected by constructing questionnaire or the methods which I have just mentioned here, right? Observation, personal record, document, biographies to gather data. You analyze the data. Data is nothing but facts and figure. On the basis of data, you can't take a decision. You take a decision on the basis of information. So your findings, which you actually get out of processing this data, plays a significant role. And when you are actually solving a big business case study, or which you would like to give a solution to the industry, the finding plays a very important. So when you try to solve a case study, the way you actually analyze the data, the way you have collected the data, the way you analyze the data, the way you have processed the data plays a significant. So if you wrongly collect, wrongly adopt the practices, wrongly adopt the procedure for collecting data, you will get a wrong. Now what people nowadays do, they send their actually questionnaire through mail. और कोई WhatsApp पे भेजा, अरे फ्रेंड को बोला, अरे भेज दो तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन. Anyway, अरे you understand your unit of analysis. Very important. What is meant by unit of analysis? You are respondent. Now, when you are talking, your unit of analysis, you are respondent. From whom you are collecting that. That plays very important. So, the finding plays a very important. Finding plays a very important. And when you are actually try to solve a big business case study, the finding are very important because you are taking a strategic decision. You will be applying into the practice. So in that case, the value should be always high. Now, how you can determine the value of that conclusion or a solution? How you can analyze the value of that conclusion or assess the value of the conclusion? Tell me the factors. Which are the factors? Now you will be giving the probable solution to a case study. You will be giving probable solution to a case study. And I should be rely on your findings because I would like to apply and solve the real life problem. But what I just also said that value plays a very important. So how you can assess the value? How you can assess the value? Which are the various factors? Quality of information, accuracy, quality of information, sufficient information. Now, solution which you are giving, it should be sufficient, complete solution you should give, not partial. So, complete, explicit, sufficient, reliable, complete, accurate. All these are various characteristics of your conclusion, of your information. That is very important. Then only you can solve a case study. Then only you can solve a problem which are given there in actually. If I really would like to know the company case study has been of XYZ. Now really they wanted to apply your findings to solve the real life problem. If you are not systematically just doing it, you have done it, and they would like to apply into the practice, sometimes it may be a disastrous problem. Right? Because if you are not generated reliable information. So the technique which you allow, the technique which you use, very important. What is the technique? Again, scientific. What is the scientific method? Research. What is that scientific technique? Research. Is very important. Okay. The case study is also useful for the formulation of a hypothesis which will lead to further research. Formulation of hypothesis, objective will definitely to use some insight to formulate a hypothesis, to construct a hypothesis. Assumption, because assumption plays significant. Right? So I have just given few examples for your understanding. Now, how to write a case study? What are the various steps? Once you have developed your problem, your problem statement, and research question. Why research question? Because you need to solve a problem. And for that, how you will solve? You need to identify the research objective for your case study. So writing objective for your case study is also very important. You should be ready to choose the specific case study that already you have been selected. Build a theoretical framework. Step 2. Construct a conceptual plan, theoretical plan. ये होना चाहिए. This is very important. तो ही आपको केस स्टडी समझ आएगी. collect your data. Collect the data and analyze the data and describe and analyze the case. Now, actually, there are different tools and techniques to analyze the case study. That also I will discuss. Now, which is the significant point? Initially, I just asked. You need to actually look into while writing a case. One is the introduction, very important. Already they have written it. Developing a case is also very important. Now you probably only you have to give a solution and give a presentation. You have to develop a case study also. No? Very important. So introduction plays an important role. Profiles and background of a information. Profile of a case. Profile of a company. Background information. These aspects it should be covered in your presentation. Now you will be giving a presentation. Objective of the case. What are your objectives of the case? Adopted research method and research result. What methodology you have adopted? Nothing but again scientific. You have to prove it scientifically. So those methods, I just told you, viewpoint, three viewpoints. One in terms of application, one in terms of design, the other in terms of product. And there also you need to again you have to mention in the case this case study maybe you have to give some like some opinion from the respondent. In such a case you have to collect the data. Now, in that case also you need to identify the respondent, and that is nothing but sampling. He said sampling, and there are again different types of probability sampling. Probability means you are giving equal chance for everybody to be selected in the first time. That is called as probability. Random samples, stratified random samples, systematic samples. These are probability. Non-probability, you are not giving equal chance for every individual for being selected as a sample. On the basis of your understanding, your blind belief, your assumptions, right? Your judgment, your convenience, you can collect the sample. That is called a non-probability. So there are different types of convenience sample, judgmental sample, quota sample, right? These are the snowball sampling. These are the various methods of non-probability. When the population is infinite and there is no sampling, fixed sampling frame, it is the non-probability. Now, I just would like to take a consumer buying behavior in Mumbai of white goods. This is a perfect example. Now, consumer buying behavior of a white good. Good number of consumers are there in the different strata, right? And there is no fixed sampling thing. I am not giving equal chance of every individual for being selected in the sample. So it is when the population is infinite, you need to go for non-probability sampling. So that you need to identify sampling method. Method of data collection. Have you conducted a questionnaire? Right? Have you personally conducted the interview? Have you done some observation? In a case study, all these techniques plays very important. Right? How you have collected the data? Right? Have you conducted a personal interview? Have you done some kind of observation and collected data and analyzed it? Those aspects also plays a very important. So methods of data collection. And then while constructing your question also plays a very important. Questionnaire is also plays a very important. Now, which scaling technique you have used? There are different types of rating scales, ranking scales. So 5-point Likert scale, right? So dichotomous scale, right? Open-ended question. So how you have actually constructed a questionnaire and collected the data, that also plays very important. And case study analysis with tools. How you analyze the case study. Now, you want to devise the strategy for the organization. I think there is one question in your case study. So, how strategic initiative in that respect, one question was asked. So, there are different types of analysis tools that also we'll discuss. So, how you can analyze the case. Actually, Good number of analysis tools are there, but basically 3-4 play a significant role, right? That I will discuss. That is very managerial implication. What is a managerial implication of the finding? Right? Managerial implication of your case study analysis. Probable what you observe. What is the implication of that? Again, very important. Finding recommendation. Findings after analysis, you find out that you come to the conclusion. Conclusions are nothing but findings. Either write conclusion or findings. The meaning of these two is same. Either write suggestions or recommendations. The meaning of suggestion and recommendations are same. Recommendation and propose solution. So, what is your probable solution? Right, your suggestion plays a very important. Now, here it is nothing but your information analysis. Do analysis and come to a conclusion. Recommendation, your recommendation, conclusion and recommendation play a significant. And then reference. So these are the very important component of a case study. So in your presentation, right, you need to actually highlight these things. Very important. Now, I just ask you. Importantly, there are good numbers. But these analysis tools plays a very important. You should take consideration of your case study. This tool competitive post model for digitized infrastructure. Now, why this is very important? Because nowadays, even your case study, nowadays, technology is playing a significant role. Technology is playing a significant role. Right? So all the processes nowadays are integrated with the technology. Right? So without technology, to devise a strategy for the organization is very important. Right? To devise a strategy for the organization, you cannot devise a strategy without technology now. The supporting role of technology has gone now. The supporting role of technology has gone now. Now the role of technology is a pivotal role, right? Right. So without technology, it is very difficult to integrate the processes. When strategically you devise a technology with the strategic business processes, right, to derive the value out of the integration is very important. So the manual process have gone. Because of that, it is very important to understand the organizational technology integration. And there is one model that I will give you some. So when you go through the case study, in the case study also, it is very significant that some solution you would like to go suggest for the organization, right? A strategy for the organization by integrating the technology, which is very important. And there is one model, right? You need to understand that. I will just give you some insight. Then Michael Porter's 5-post competitive model that you know it, and then value chain analysis, and then SWOT analysis. Briefly, I just go through. Now, this is very important. What I said, understanding the technology factors. Understanding the technology factors, right, plays a very important role to devise the strategy for the organization. Because every strategy nowadays, it is very significant to integrate with the technology. Understood? So without effective integration, you cannot derive the value out of it. Now there is a one model. What is that model? These are the various factors. There are certain internal factors, there are certain external factors. And this is a model actually, right? So it is very significant to understand the internal factors. You need to understand, analyze within the case study also, which are the external factors. These are the competitors, IT infrastructure. These are external factors, nothing but competitor IT infrastructure. Which are the other competitors playing a significant role out of the organization? And what is their IT strategy? What is their IT strategy? Very important. Similarly, internal factors, your firm's IT infrastructure and strategy, also very important. So if you want to devise a IT infrastructure and provide a solution, right, it is very significant to understand these external factors and internal factors. So competitive force model for IT infrastructure. Now it is very important when you talk about this case study after 10 years, if this organization would like to survive in the competitive environment, or after 5 years, even now also, if you do not integrate the technology and provide the solution to the organization, right, by analyzing the case study, it is very difficult. You have to give a strategy by integrating the technology. So for that, you need to understand what are the other competitors, right, and their IT strategy. Now, when you see this model, market demand for your firm, customer, supplier, enterprises, and your services. You need to understand what is the market demand for your product, for your services, who are your customers. It is very difficult to understand that. Then your firm business strategy. What are your business strategies? Right? Very important. When you are analyzing case, this is again very important. Your firm IT strategy, infrastructure, and cost. What is your firm IT strategy and infrastructure and cost? Again, cost benefit analysis is also very important. You need to understand that and the technology. So these are the internal factors. So it is very, suppose if you want to give a probable solution to a XYZ organization, it is very important that without now technology integration, you cannot devise a strategy. So for that, it is very significant to understand clearly about your customers and then the business strategy and the technology infrastructure and what is the probable cost. Business cost benefit analysis is very important. So when you talk about cost and feasibility study is also very significant. So what is meant by feasibility study? Operational feasibility, technical feasibility, social feasibility, economical feasibility, ethical feasibility, legal feasibility. So many issues are there, right? Very important. And then competitive firms IT services. Which are the competitive firms IT services? Because you have to have the edge over your competitor. Na? You need to understand their strategy also. आपको नंबर 1 आना है तो आपको आपके कॉम्पिटिटर वो भी समझ में आना चाहिए. अभी ये केस स्टडी में कंपटीशन में आपको आना है. If you want to win the race, you also need to have some sense of other competitor. It's very difficult, but you should have that actually. You need to understand that. What is the other competitor is doing? Because you have to change your strategy, even at a small level, but you have to change the strategy. Very important. So, important. Right? Their services, their customer, right? This is very important to understand, and similarly, their firm's IT, because then you can integrate it. It's very significant. So, and these questions you need to ask. There are 6 factors you can use to answer the question, right? How much should our firm spend on IT? आप ये सब पूछिए, and then you decide how much I should invest, right? And to integrate the strategy, because ultimately cost benefit analysis is also very important. CBS, cost benefit, CBA, cost benefit analysis, operational cost, right? Technical operational cost, legal cost, economical cost, right? Legal cost. So all these are very important components, right? Tangible cost, intangible cost. Understood? Now this you already know it. Michael 5 post comparative model. Now this actually for your case study, the earlier one which I discussed is very important. Accordingly, you can do it, analyze it. And again, this is, I think you must have learned in your first semester or second semester. There are 5 competitive forces, competitive rivalry within an industry, a threat of a substitute product, threat of a new entrant, right? Bargaining power of a customer, bargaining power of a supplier. So this is very important. And when you actually, your case is perfectly suitable to that. And you can analyze the case on the basis of this Michael 5 post comparative model. You know it, I will not go in detail about it. And then again, these are the various examples I have just given for your understanding. The rivalry of a competitor, Positive may be neutral or healthy. Threat of a new entrant, Apple, IBM, HP, Compactu, Dell, SR. Take an example of the technology domain area. Threat of a substitute, Salon shampoo versus Walmart brand or Unilever brand. Right? Customer bargaining power, buy from a competitor or don't buy it. Supplier bargaining power, your competitor pay in a days, not weeks, and offer good discount. So maybe a different strategy one can use it. So that you need to identify, analyze it, so you can do it from there. Now there are different strategies. You must have learned it. I will not actually go through in detail, but there are different type of strategy. Now this you need to identify out of your. Okay. Very absolute. So you can interpret accordingly. So this is the I have just given you example. So how you can analyze the case by using the Michael 5-post comparative model, and you can try to identify what are the three threat to new entrant, right? What is the supplier power, buyer power, right? Threat of a substitution or competitor rivalry. I have just analyzed the case of a Rolls-Royce on the basis of the secondary data and come out this conclusion. So accordingly, you can also use it, Michael 5-post comparative model, and analyze the case by using these understanding. Again, very with the unique points, I have just analyzed the case. This is again, take example of Uber, right? Now again, Uber is a very wonderful case study. Why I'm just saying that for any case study, technology integration plays a significant. Now there are virtual organizations that emerge there are different type of business models are there. I will not go through in detail, right? There are 10 business models are there, 10 business models, right? Evolved in the last 10 years, 1 decade, and they evolved their business by only integrating the technology. So it is not necessary that you should have a good infrastructure, right? Not necessary. You should have a good manpower with the limited resources, with the innovative idea, right? You can integrate your business model. And if there is a good innovative business model or idea, you can integrate this and evolve with the different business altogether. This is a era of virtualization and virtual organization. So Ola, take example of Facebook, take example of Google, take example of Uber, take example of Airbnb, take example of Facebook, right? Take example of WhatsApp now, right? There are good number of, take example of various apps. So how technology has evolved, right? Now virtual reality, robotics, e-business, e-commerce, business intelligence, blockchain technology, artificial reality, right? Machine learning, all these are emerging areas, and you will find that how technology will integrate with the business processes and derive value for the organization. So in the case study also, you can suggest how you can integrate with the business processes and derive the value for the organization. Again, ultimately, even though if you penetrate the technology, right, digitization, we talk about digitization, but there is no guarantee of return. There is no guarantee of return. Even though you integrate the technology and would like to devise a strategy for the organization, you cannot derive the value because there are other factors plays two important factors. So two important factor is nothing but your policy plays a very important role. Your business model plays a very important role. Your ethics plays a very important role, right? Implementation plays a very important role, right? And apart from that, ethics, legal aspect, and secondly, the important component is the human resource. So this is very important. So if you just only penetrated the technology and if you are not taken into consideration of all these factors, you are bound to fail. So it is very significant. Your business policy, your business process, your business model, right? The ethical aspect, legal, right? Effective integration, implementation, and the human resource plays a very important component to derive the value out of it, right? And for that, it is very significant when you are actually solving a business case study or suggesting solution to the industry, right? And apart from that, the socio-technical perspective of a technology is very important. Socio-technical perspective means only if you just concentrate on technology and social aspects, if you are not taken into, you cannot derive the value. So you need to understand the organizational design. So when you are solving a case study, it is very important to understand the business process, right? And we need to understand the organizational design. So what are the various factors plays a significant role when you talk about organizational design? When you talk about organizational design, there are three important components, right? One is the organization, right? In the organization, there are again different organizational structure plays a very important role. Now in the case study, try to identify the organizational structure, what kind of organizational structure it is, whether it is a flat structure, whether it is a project structure, whether it is a product structure, whether it's a multi-dimensional organizational structure, which is complex in nature. So that is very important. And then the culture also, organization culture is also very important. Every organization has a different culture. The culture plays a very important, and the management, tactical management, strategic management, operational management. So all these issues, culture, structure, line of authority, span of control, scalar chain, all these are very important factors. And then technology is one component. So when you talk about the organizational design, organization structure, right, and the management, these are two pillars. And the third pillar is technology. So while analyzing the case, you try to understand what is the organizational issues are here, what is the organization structure, right? Whether this organization structure is appropriate, right? Whether the line of authority, span of control, chain, scalar chain, centralization, decentralization is effective enough to integrate that with the technology, and what is the management in terms of tactical, operational, strategic, and then how one can derive the value out of it. Ultimately, you need to derive the value out of it. So all these aspects you need to learn out of the case study. Very important. Okay? So there is a socio-technical perspective. So when you learn the case study, analyze the case study, try to identify the socio-technical perspective of a case study. Socio-technical perspective is very important. And you need to, there should be, when you are probably giving solution, right? Probably you are giving solution, right? You need to understand the proper fit between the organizational design and technology design. When you talk about organizational design, organizational culture very important, organizational structure very important, right? Then the management aspect plays very important role, and then technology design. So there should be appropriate fit between this organizational design and technology design. If there is a proper fit, you can derive the value. Otherwise, no. So you need to identify different alternatives. This is technology design. This is organizational design. Fitting, not fitting. Try some other alternative. Not fitting. Try some other alternative. And you need to identify certain iterative. Accordingly, if there is a proper fit, then you can implement it. So all these aspects also plays an important role when you actually learn a case study and implement. So again, value chain analysis. You know what is the name of value chain analysis? Have anybody has done it? Value chain analysis. What is meant by value chain analysis? Value chain analysis. Now, if I ask you, what are the various factors that are significant? What is the value chain analysis of your case study? Have you analyzed the case value chain? You analyze the case value chain. Any business or any case study or to analyze a business, even for yourself also you try to analyze the value. You can do the value chain analysis. Value chain analysis is nothing but in the organization there are n number of processes, n number of activities, right? And there are some activities, right, which add value to the organization. Now you must be good in one aspect, one activity, and you be good in number of activities. You may be good in number of activities. I personally thought you cannot become like this. I cannot become like this. But why not you try to understand what are your strengths? Which are the value generating activities in your business? And there are n number of value generating activities. Analyzing those, right? And there are chain of activities can add value to the business, and strengthening those activities is what value chain analysis. So you can do a value chain analysis of your business. Value chain analysis of the business. I just try to say that there are 4 aspects. They are significant. Value chain analysis. बहुत हो बहुत आप पूरा केस स्टडी फाड़ के रख दोगे, कोई प्रॉब्लम है. So this is nothing but value chain. As a mentioned, the business system is separated into various value generating activities and form a chain and apply such value generating activities of a business. The is termed as a value chain analysis. The value chain analysis helps in cost cutting. Now again, these are the various factors, and again, technology is also playing a very important role. Adding value in the each process. Now there are, in the value chain analysis, there are just different aspects are there. Coordination and support services, human resource management, technology development, procurement, resources, inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, customer services, and competitor advantage. अभी देखिए आप just correlate this value chain analysis to your case study. Inbound logistics तो रहेगा, inbound within the organization, outbound logistics रहेगा, so out of the organization. राइट इनबाउंड में ये भी आता है सप्लायर का रॉ मटेरियल जब प्रोक्योरमेंट वो भी आता है उसमें आउटबाउंड फिनिश गुड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम राइट टू अप टू डिफरेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स रिटेलर्स तक जाएगा कंज्यूमर तक जाएगा वो राइट ऑपरेशंस आएगा मार्केटिंग आएगा सेल्स आएगा एंड कस्टमर सो ऑल दीज एस्पेक्ट्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट so if you analyze your case with this aspect, see, completely you can analyze. You try to identify which are the various value generating activities playing a significant role in the case study or a business. Similarly, there are certain value generating activities in terms of procurement, technology development, right, human resource, right, and administrative coordination. And on each aspect, how technology is playing a significant role also. Now, I have just given a technology, how technology is playing an important role. Now, here, suppose collaborative workflow intranet. Collaborative workflow intranet, administrative coordination support service. Now, you must be knowing that collaborative workflow intranet. Now, intranet, you know what is meant by intranet? The network used within the organization for dissemination of data and information within the employees. The network which is used out of the organization, but it is limited with a certain group, right? If you are authorized, you can access. That is called as extra. Intranet is for all. Now, I have just used the technology to integrate to strengthen my administrative coordination and support service. That way, you can provide the solution. Now, human resource management, employee benefits. Again, intranet, right? Even your ERP also plays a significant role to look into all human resource management practices. Technology development, procurement, e-commerce, web portals and suppliers, operations, computer-aided flexible manufacturing, robotics. Also, you can use it. Automated just-in-time warehousing for inbound logistics, online point of sale and other processing for outbound logistics, targeted marketing, technology marketing, customer relationship management for customer services. Here what I have done, not only I have a slide, but I have also playing a significant role to integrate the various activities and which can add value to the business. To value generating, value generating. So, in a different diagrammatic representation, I have just given to you for your understanding. Now, how technology, now, just correlate this value chain analysis model, tool, and analyze it. देखिए कैसा होगा पूरा आप है ना पूरा पोस्टमार्टम करो पूरा पोस्ट इसीलिए ना केस स्टडी एनालिसिस case study method of teaching plays a significant role. But unless and until you should do it in a systematic, sincerely, with dedication, hard work, logical thinking. ये सब चाहिए. अगर वो नहीं है तो कुछ नहीं होगा. आप है ना केस स्टडी दिया सर ने एक दूसरा क्वेश्चन दूसरा भी चली गुजरे So if you thoroughly actually discuss it, definitely you learn a lot of actually insight about the business. And then last model is आप इतना करो बस चार मॉडल से एनालाइज करो बहुत हो जाएगा, right? So probably you can come to the conclusion, right? The SWOT analysis: strength, the weaknesses, opportunities, right, and the threat from the business. I have just given for your understanding मैंने एक लिया है Amazon with raw data से I have just prepared this and I have just come to the conclusion. Now if you see the Amazon.com SWOT analysis, you will try to understand what are the various strengths, what are the various threats, what are the various opportunities, what are the weaknesses. Accordingly, you can also analyze your case and come to an appropriate solution. Now, look at this as an industry. Industry का भी you can take in industry. अभी education hospital industry का analysis आपको करना है, so you can take a full industry, you can analyze it, So the strength, the weaknesses, automotive industry का और उसका कुछ point डाले, the other point. So you can analyze the case study by using this. Knowing the balance program. Balance program. अगर बैलेंस ओवर करना है customer perspective. How do we look to our customer and other stakeholders and take care of them? Very important component. Internal process perspective. What internal processes must we excel at in order to attract and retain our customers and other stakeholders? Right? And the innovation and learning perspective. How do we keep getting better? So these are the four pillars of the organization: innovative and learning perspective, internal process perspective, customer process perspective, financial perspective. Financial perspective. So these are the four perspectives of. Now, आप ये relate कर लीजिए आपके case study. You relate with your case study and try to identify it. So you can completely analyze. अभी देखो ये 5 मॉडल मैंने बताया. तो 5 मॉडल से if you analyze the case, तो complete है ना, कुछ रहेगा ही नहीं उसमें. But लेकिन उसमें क्या करना चाहिए? Initially I just told you how scientifically you do it. How scientifically you do it means इसमें क्या होना चाहिए? आपका identification of problem बहुत important है. आपके फैक्टर्स आइडेंटिफिकेशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? आपका कंसेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? आपके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और आपके टेंटेटिव assumptions वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि टेंटेटिव assumptions will guide you how you can lead the case study. So this is very important, not only restricted to this case study, any case study or any business. अगर आप है ना फ्यूचर में कोई बिजनेस भी करना चाहते हो, you just have these 4 models in your mind, definitely you will be a success. Very important. And technology is very important. For that, I have just given one model, right? Technology integration, because if you want to derive the value out of it, technology integration is very important. Technology integration is very important. So these are the 4 perspectives, very important. So if you briefly would like to highlight the balanced scorecard approach, and if you want to analyze the case study, you can also do it, right? And analyze. Any question? आप कोई प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकते हो अगर इफ यू यूज द साइंटिफिक मेथड ऑफ एनालिसिस. तो साइंटिफिक मेथड इज नथिंग बट रिसर्च मेथड. और इसके लिए पहले क्या कर लीजिए, अभी आपके पास तो बहुत टाइम शॉर्ट है. एज ए मैनेजमेंट स्टूडेंट, रीड वन बिजनेस रिसर्च मेथड बाय उमा. बिजनेस रिसर्च मेथड, ये बुक है बाय उमा शेखर. To purchase your own copy is at 250 rupees. The price of the book is 250 rupees, but it's very good book to learn about the business research. By Uma Shekhar. Business research method by Uma Shekhar. And so how scientifically you do it? Scientific. The more number of study you discuss in a class also, the more number of insight you will get about the management domain. So it is very, understanding the theory is very important. But how you actually discuss with the real life problems and come to a solution is very important to learn the management insight. try to analyze, try to identify the factors. I just take the organizational dimension, technological dimension, and management. Maybe three pillars. Organizational dimension में आएगा, organizational design आएगा, organizational culture आएगा, then organizational structure आएगा, management में आएगा strategic management, tactical management, operational management, और technology में आएगा hardware आएगा, software आएगा, database आएगा, even telecommunication system भी आएगा, because the telecommunication system is the backbone of the because your internet is based on telecommunication. So when you talk about modern architecture, technology architecture, the backbone of modern technological architecture is a telecommunication. That is it. And internet is based on telecommunication. No, I'm just other aspect. I'm not talking in terms of this case. Because some concept I should also give you so that I can, when you analyze a big case also. No, you not so rather this is again now take example of cloud computing. What is cloud computing? What is cloud computing? What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is nothing but right. You are not doing your own infrastructure, hardware infrastructure, software infrastructure, or platform infrastructure. Somebody will provide you the infrastructure and you will be using that infrastructure. And like a utility bill, right? Your water bill, electricity bill, right? A gas bill, you are paying the charges and hiring that service. That's good. It's very cost effective. Now you are using Google, you are using Facebook, you are using Twitter, you are using Gmail account. Now see the infrastructure, what infrastructure is required for that, and the technology component, and the investment. Somebody is providing you the infrastructure. Facebook, LinkedIn, somebody is providing you the infrastructure, and you are enjoying it. And with just your 300 rupees or 400 rupees talk time and net pack with your mobile computing devices, you are enjoying. So that kind of mobile computing services with the social media connect, you can suggest a solution to XYZ company. So cloud computing. Now how cloud computing is working? Cloud computing, the basic infrastructure for cloud computing is nothing but internet-based architecture. So internet-based architecture, what is the backbone of internet-based architecture? Is nothing but what because internet-based architecture, all your applications, right? Your data warehousing, data blockchain technology, artificial reality, robotics, all these are innovative technologies. Internet-based architecture. ऐसा है ये सब अभी फ्यूचर तो पूरा टेक्नोलॉजी है. नो यू कैन डिवाइड इन. अभी देखो बच्चे आईआईटी के बच्चे बहुत सारे एम इंडिकेटर हमारे बच्चों ने डेवलप किया है. बॉम्बे में रहते हैं उनको मालूम, राइट. देयर आर गुड नंबर ऑफ एप्स एक्चुअली बडिंग इंजीनियर्स आर डेवलपिंग. ठीक है, जरा बैंकिंग ऐप, अब बैंक जाना भी बंद कर दिया. बैंक बंद ऐप, you can create your FD, you can create any kind of transaction possible. And see the revenue model. Impact app, impact while morning walk and etc., you can use that. Or in the morning also you can on the app, and at the night you can cross check how many steps you have actually walked. If you want to go for jogging, that also you can on that app, and you will come to know. Now, actually, I will just give you one example. Now, this is a business model, right? We can take a case study of this also. So I just went to visit the father uncle institution, and there is a government and a funded project, government funded project, and the incubation center. And there 4 people were actually working on some technology. And the director has introduced me. The 4 guys has developed the app, Impact app, and I was using that Impact. And see the revenue model. So you can you can connect the Impact app to, and you can listen various songs also while walking. You can also get some sort of advertisement and etc. Right? And whatever the steps, how many steps you actually walk in a day, right, is counted, and accordingly, you will get suppose if you walk 5,000 steps, so you can actually generate a revenue of 50 to 100 rupees. Some calculation is there, and that 50 to 100 rupees will go to CSR activity. And there is a one hour organization is sponsoring for that CSR activity. You will walk, but that the benefit, and there is a some margin that amount will out of that amount it goes to that developer, right? And associated advertisement also contribution goes to that developer. So good number of business models are evolving actually. Like that, in your case study, you see what are the various processes where you can cut down the processes. What are the various value generating activities? What is the start analysis? What are the various aspects in terms of Michael 5 post community model? What is the value generating activity? And you can give a solution to that. How you can integrate the technology, reduce some processes. We also call it business process reengineering. Business process means you cut down the process and you can change the processes and suggest a new process so that you can reduce the cost. When you are talking about cost, tangible cost, intangible cost, and generate a revenue out of profit. So this is some diversified approach to analyze. There are so many aspects where you can analyze. All the best. Yes. Now, there are so many aspects are there. Now, when you talk financial aspects are there. That's why I just told you, practical management. Coding is not middle level. Why the result was down? So all the best.
On behalf of Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Department of Management Studies, I take this opportunity to thank you, our mentor, Chauhan sir, who spared his valuable time from his busy schedule to guide our participants for the Vanguard competition. Thank you, participants, for coming here and widening your knowledge. Thank you for the faculty present here. Thank you for the technical team and student volunteers for smooth functioning of event. Thank you.